Can I get a heart react if naririnig ako? Okay, thank you. So in a short while, so we will start na for our crash course in law enforcement administration. So maybe we could start by 1:10. So let's wait for the others. So kindly heads up your buddies or your sis to join the meeting room, okay? Or the live stream. So by 10:10 we will start na. Thank you. Okay, so I think that should do it. Let's start since it's already 1:10 as we have agreed upon. Okay, so I think we could start. So let me share my screen and open my camera first. Okay, so good afternoon to each and everyone. So first of all, thank you for coming over for the sighting or the crash course. Okay, so this crash course is part of the preparation or our preparation for the final examination. Okay, so you will be having your final examination on Saturday. So I hope or let's hope na whatever na mapag-usapan natin will help you to prepare your to prepare you for the final examination. Okay. So the format of the crash course that we're going to do is a mix of question and answer as well as discussion. Okay. A summarized discussion of the important topics as specified by the table of specification. Okay, or the TOS. So ito yung mga topic na kailangan alam ninyo or kailangan naiintindihan ninyo because these are the probable topic the pagkukuhanan ng question for the final examination. Okay? So, first, we will talk about industrial security management. Second, we're going to talk about the comparative policing models. And lastly, the nationalism and patriotism. So you already had the other subjects kaninang umaga with Sir Mabagos, if I'm not mistaken. So kanina na crash course na kayo for the LEOA, LEOOP, and leadership. Okay, so ngayon naman, security, comparative, and NatPat. Okay, so let's start. So first, in industrial security, what you need to know is the definition, of course, or you need to understand the definition of security itself. So when we say security, so security is a state or a condition, okay, wherein a person, an institution, or an authority, okay, or a group of people are secured or they feel they are free from any threat or vulnerabilities. So sa madaling salita, when we say security, security is a state or condition of someone or an organization or a firm that he or she is free from harm or danger. Ibig sabihin, malayo siya sa kapahamakan. Okay? Ibig sabihin, hindi siya or malaki yung posibilidad or siya ay protected from damages, from loss, from injuries, and the like. Okay? So that is what we mean by security. So this is often used interchangeably with the word safety. Okay? So what is safety on the other hand? So pag sinabi natin safety, just like security, safety is also a condition. Okay? Condition din siya. State din siya that the person, a company or an organization or a group of people is free from harm or danger. But as we have mentioned, the difference between security and safety is that pag sinabing security, you are free from harm and danger from intentional causes. Okay? Such as pilferage, okay? Sabotage, espionage. So if you are in a state where you are free from such, okay, you are free from harm or danger, loss or damages that could be caused by intentional causes such as espionage, pilferage, sabotage. So, ang tawag sa state or condition na meron ka is security. Okay? So, safety on the other hand is you are free from harm or danger from natural or accidental causes. Okay? So, if you are free from harm or danger na ang dahilan ay natural cause or accidental cause, ang tawag doon sa condition na yon ay safety. Okay? So, example, volcanic eruption, earthquake, di ba? Or accident itself. So, ang tawag doon ay safety. Kaya nga, magkaiba yung tinatawag nating security measures and safety measures. Di ba? So pag sinabi natin security measure, for example na lang yan, lagi kong ini-example sa ano, 'di ba? Ang tawag for example sa cellphone. For example, yung cellphone mo is or yung motorsiklo mo halimbawa, meron siyang mga security features, 'di ba? Na kung saan mas secured yung gamit or yung motor mo mula sa magnanakaw, 'di ba? Mas mataas yung chance or protection niya against sa pagnanakaw. So yung pagnanakaw is intentional cause. Kaya ang tawag doon sa measure na ina-apply natin doon ay security measure, 'di ba? To achieve security. While pag sinabi naman natin safety, kaya nga meron tayong mga tinatawag na safety gear, 'di ba? Kung ikaw ay nagmo-motor, 'di ba? Isa sa mga safety gear na pine-prescribe or nire-require na isuot mo is helmet. Bakit? Because the helmet will prevent you or will protect you from injuries, 'di ba? You will save you from death possibly, 'di ba? Kaya bakit natin ginagawa 'yon? It is because baka magkaroon ng aksidente, 'di ba? Kaya nga ang tawag doon ay safety gears, ano? So that is the difference between security and safety. Okay? So I hope we are clear with that, ano? So aside from security and safety, there are other factors that may bring a secured condition. So for example yan, that is threat. Okay? So remember, when we say threat refers to an activity. Okay? Or activities that could lead to loss. So for example, pagnanakaw, sabotage, espionage, those are threats. Diba? Because those are activities na pwedeng mag-result to loss, damages, or injuries. Okay? So that is what we mean by threat. Next is we have hazard. The difference between a threat and a hazard is that the hazard is a condition. Okay? So hindi siya activity, hindi siya gawain, kundi isang kondisyon. Kondisyon sa isang environment, kondisyon kung nasaan yung asset mo ay pwedeng magkaroon ng loss or damage. Okay? So for example, halimbawa, yung iyong asset sa iyong company, halimbawa yung tinda or yung iyong benta, kita sa iyong kumpanya, halimbawa is nakalagay lang sa isang stante na kung saan less secured, di ba? Pwede siyang nakawin, pwede siyang mawala. That condition itself is what we call hazard, di ba? While yung pagnanakaw na pwedeng gawin or yung pagnanakaw na pwedeng mangyari, ang tawag naman doon ay threat. Okay? So that is the difference between a hazard and a threat. No? So the threat is an activity whereas hazard is a condition. But both of them could lead to loss or damage. Okay? So, aside from threat, hazard, okay, we also have what we call vulnerability. So, remember, when we say vulnerability, di ba? Pag sinabi vulnerable, ibig sabihin nun ay weak. Di ba? So, vulnerability means the weakness. Okay? So, in every condition or in every firm, organization, di ba? Even sa mga measures na ina-apply natin, there is what we call vulnerability. Meron niyang weakness, di ba? There's no such thing as perfect organization. There's no such thing as perfect security measures. Sabi nga, even sa barriers, di ba? There's no such thing as impenetrable barrier. Di ba? There are always weakness. Di ba? Meron laging weakness yan. Meron laging kahinaan yan. Di ba? So, that weakness is called vulnerability. Ano ba yung tinutukoy natin weakness? Those weakness that could be used to gain access to the asset. Okay? So, for example, in a company, halimbawa, sa isang kumpanya, yung mga empleyado, for example, ay hindi alam or hindi sila informed or aware sa mga safety or security measures. Okay? Ng kumpanya. So, yung condition na yon, or yung bagay na yon, ang tawag doon ay vulnerability. That is a weakness. Bakit? So dahil itong mga empleyado, hindi sila marunong or di sila alam, di sila informed or aware sa mga security measures, pwedeng gamitin yon as weakness. Di ba? Para ma-penetrate or para magka-gain ng access sa asset. Okay? Another example, pasimplihin natin, halimbawa, meron kang gate. Di ba? So, ang gate ay isang security measure. Di ba? So, meron kang gate. Kaso, yung gate mo, walang kandado. Wala siyang kandado. So, meron kang gate pero walang kandado, walang lock. So, is that considered as a vulnerability? Yes. Di ba? Vulnerability yun because that is a weakness. Pwedeng magamit, di ba? To gain access to the asset. Okay? So, that is what we mean by vulnerability. So, your keyword there is weakness. Ano? Next is we have risk. So, what do we mean by risk? So, when we say risk, if threat is an activity and hazard is a condition that could lead to the potential loss, and vulnerability is the weakness that could be used, di ba? To gain access para magkaroon ng ganong loss or damages, the risk is the loss itself. That is the potential damage or loss. Pag sinabi nating risk, kung ano yung pwedeng mawala, ano yung pwedeng ma-damage, ano yung pwedeng masira, ano yung pwedeng mawala. That is what we call a risk. Okay? So, that could be a loss of an asset, a damage of an asset. Okay? So, that is what we call a risk. Ano? So, when it comes to a risk, merong dalawang factor in determining the risk. Okay? So, merong dalawang dahilan or merong uh, dalawang factor para malaman whether yung isang bagay ay high risk or low risk, di ba? So first is the value placed on the asset. Pag sinabi nating value, value means importance. Gaano ba kaimportante yung asset na yon? Ano? Gaano ba kaimportante yung asset na yon doon sa owner? Gaano ba kalaki yung magiging impact niya or magiging consequence niya kung sakaling yan ay masira or mawala. Okay, that is the first. So kung yung isang item or isang bagay, isang asset ay highly valuable, ibig sabihin, pwedeng monetary value, di ba? Pwedeng nagkakahalaga siya ng milyon-milyon. Di ba? So, high risk yan. Bakit? Kasi pag yan ay nasira or nawala, masakit sa ulo yan. Di ba? Malaking damage yan. Or pwedeng operational value. Ibig sabihin, hindi naman siya ganun kamahalan, hindi naman siya in terms of money, hindi naman siya ganun kamahal, pero dahil importante siya for the operation of the business, operation ng company, pag yan ay nasira or nawala, it will prevent or paralyze the company. So that could be high risk also. Di ba? So isa yun sa factor na nagpapataas or nagpapataas or nagpapababa ng risk na isang bagay, ng isang risk, no? Second is, aside from the value of the asset, is the likelihood. Anong ibig sabihin ng likelihood? The probability or the chance. Ano? So, the likelihood or the probability or the chance that a specific vulnerability will be exploited by a particular threat. So, isa rin nagpapataas ng risk is kung gaano kataas din yung tsansa na mangyari, magamit yung weakness o yung vulnerability. Diba? Para ma-exploit or magamit yung weakness para ma-access yung asset. Magkaroon ng loss or damage. Okay? So, for example, halimbawa na lang yan. Yung isang gamit or isang bagay is mamahalin. For example, cellphone. Diba? Cellphone, bumili ka ng bagong cellphone, iPhone 17. Halaga niya is 90,000 pesos, for example. Okay? So, highly valuable siya. Importante siya sa'yo. However, dahil maliit naman yung tsansa na merong vulnerability or weakness na ma-exploit para manakaw yung cellphone. For example, yung cellphone, kahit saan magpunta, hawak-hawak mo. Nilagyan mo ng lace, nakatali sa'yo, for example. So, it will also minimize the risk. Diba? So, maka-counterbalance niya. Ano? So, highly valuable siya, pero dahil maliit yung tsansa na magkaroon ng vulnerability or magamit yung vulnerability, so, bababa ngayon yung risk. Okay? So, yung dahilan kung bakit tayo nag-a-apply ng security measures. Diba? Kasi yung value ng asset, hindi naman natin makokontrol yan eh. Di ba? Kasi once na bumili ka ng isang bagay or ng isang asset, ginamit mo yan sa operation, so nandun na yung value niyan. Hindi mo makokontrol yan. However, what you can control is the likelihood na ma-exploit yung isang vulnerability or isang weakness. Okay? So, kaya tayo nag-a-apply ng security measures. So, that is what we call risk. So, I hope we are clear with the difference between a threat, a hazard, a vulnerability, or a risk. So, to sum it up, una, ang security ay protection against intentional causes. Pag sinabing safety, natural or accidental causes. So, merong 4 na factor na pwedeng mag-contribute sa security at safety ng isang bagay. So, first is the threat. So, threat is an activity that could lead to potential loss. Next is the hazard. So, hazard is a condition that could lead to loss. And vulnerability naman is a weakness. Okay? And lastly, risk is the potential damage or the potential loss. Okay? So, yun yung 4. So, I hope we are clear with that. Okay? So, yan. Thank you for the reaction. Okay. So, in industrial security, what you need to understand also are the divisions of security or the divisions of industrial security. So, first is yung tinatawag natin physical security. Okay? So, when we say physical security are measures that consist of barriers. Okay? So, what is the purpose of that? So, pag sinabi natin branch of security or division of industrial security, that is primarily concerned with installation of barriers, protection of the physical plant, prevention of access, prevention of unauthorized or illegal access. So that is what we call physical security. Okay? So bakit? Ano ba ang pinoprotektahan sa physical security? The equipment, facilities, materials, and documents. Okay? Kaya siya tinawag na physical because you are physically protecting. You are physically protecting the threats and the hazards from the asset. Okay? So, ganun siya, So, pinoprotektahan natin yung asset mula doon sa mga ganung bagay. Okay? Physically. Kaya nga siya tinatawag, kaya nga ang primary involved dito ay yung pag-i-install ng barriers. Okay? So, that is the physical security. So, for example, in the examination, you will be asked, halimbawa, what is the broadest branch? Ano yung pinakamalawak na branch or division ng industrial security? So, the answer is in physical security. Okay? So, that's the answer. Or, for example, halimbawa, scenario type. Scenario question. Halimbawa, Pedro installed a fence in his house, for example. Okay? Or surrounding his house. So, what division of security is being applied? So, mula dun sa tinatanong, nag-install ng bakod. So, ano daw security or classic security ang in-apply? So, that is physical security. Okay? Basta yan ay nag-i-involve ng installation ng barriers. Okay? So, what do we mean by barriers? Ano nga ba ang ibig sabihin ng barriers? Okay? So, when we say barriers refers to any structure or physical device that is capable of restricting, deterring, delaying illegal access. Okay, so anything na pwedeng magbawal, mag-prevent, mag-delay, sa access ng isang tao na walang authorization mula dun sa asset, that is what we call barrier. Okay? So, remember that when we say barrier, merong apat ano na katangian, okay? Or purpose or characteristic ang isang barrier. So, pag sinabi natin barrier, anything that is capable of this 4D. No? Kasi na may capability to deny, deter, detect, or delay illegal access, that is, or that thing is called a barrier. Okay? Ang tawag doon ay barrier. Okay? Basta capable siya na gawin yung mga bagay na yan. Understood? Maliwanag tayo doon? Okay. So, yan. Thank you. Hold on for a while. May sisindi ko lang yung fan dito sa office. Okay. So, sige, let's continue. Pasensya na sa delay. Okay, so what are the different purpose of barrier? So, remember, these are the following purposes or yung mga gamit ng barrier. Okay? First is it is used to define the physical limits of an area. So, when we install barrier, one of the most common reason of that is to define the boundaries of our area or our asset. Di ba? Pag halimbawa na lang, pinaka-common yan is bakod. Di ba? Bakit tayo nagbabakod? Ba't tayo naglalagay ng fence? Di ba? The main purpose of it is para i-define. Di ba? Para makita natin or maipakita natin hanggang saan yung hangganan ng ating ari-arian. Di ba? O, halimbawa na lang sa lupa natin. Di ba? Babakuran natin yung lupa. Bakit? Para malaman ng mga ibang tao na yung bahay na yan or yung lupa na yan, atin yan. Bawal sila dyan. Di ba? Kasi pagmamay-ari natin yan. That is what we call define the physical limits of an area. Okay? That's the first purpose. Second, it creates physical and psychological deterrent of unauthorized entry. Diba? So, isa sa dahilan kung bakit tayo naglalagay ng barrier is to provide deterrence physically and psychologically. Diba? So, alam mo, nakita mo merong bakod. So, taas. So, physically deterrent na yun. Diba? Physical deterrent na yun kasi kailangan pang akyatin yung bakod in order to gain access. Okay? Also, psychologically, ano ba may nakalagay doon sa bakod? May nakalagay na electric fence, kanya ganon. Beware, kanya ganyan. Diba? Okay, may nakalagay doon sa bakod. Bawal pumasok dito. Namamaril yung may-ari. So, it will create, diba, psychological deterrence. Uy, bawal pala, diba? Hindi pala pwede pumasok dyan. Okay? Also, it delays intrusion. Diba? So, if you look at the, comparing yung isang bahay na mayroong bakod at yung bahay na walang bakod, syempre, mas madali, di ba? Pasukin yung bahay na walang bakod, di ba? So, yun, Kaya yung mga akit bahay, di ba? Kahit papaano, nahihirapan sila kasi may bakod, di ba? Ang isang bahay lang siguro na inaayawan ng akyat bahay, di ba? Pagka akyat bahay kahit walang bakod, siguro yung condominium, di ba? Diba, yung condo mo nasa 20th floor. Kailangan niyang akyatin sa bintana 'yon, taas nun, di ba? O yun, aayawan ng akyat bahay yun kahit walang bakod, no? So, kita mo yung akyat bahay, nasa gilid ng building, di ba? Parang Spider-Man, no? So, also, it assists in more efficient and economical employment of guards. So, pagka meron tayong physical barriers, di ba, or meron tayong mga barriers, so somehow, it assists us for more economical or efficient employment ng ating mga guards or mga security personnel. Di ba? So, halimbawa na lang, May mga convenience store na ngayon na hindi na sila nag-e-employ or hindi na sila nag-hire ng security guard. 'Di ba? Kasi yung kanilang convenience store ay installed na ng security camera. Merong sensor na pagka kumuha ka ng isang item sa convenience store na hindi mo pa binabayaran, hindi bubukas yung pinto. So may ganoon. Okay? So somehow, 'di ba, with this technology or with this kind of barriers, so mas lumiliit na or mas nagiging tipid na lalong-lalo na sa mga business owner, lalo na yung pag-employ ng security guard. Or kundi naman, 'di ba, pag meron tayong bakod, for example, merong gate o kung merong kang gwardiya, so hindi mo na kailangan ng maraming gwardiya para paikutan or para palibutan yung iyong area, 'di ba? Or yung iyong business. So saan mo na siya ilalagay? Sa mga entrance and exit, 'di ba? So mas makakatipid ka. Also, it facilitate and improve the control of vehicular traffic. So, syempre, pag meron tayong physical barriers, di ba? Like yung mga fence, mga gate, so mas madali natin ma-monitor yung movement ng tao at ng vehicle sa loob ng ating establishment. So, mas madali natin nakikita kung yung isang vehicle ay pumasok, yung isang vehicle ba ay particular na vehicle ba na yun ay lumabas na. So, mas madali yan. Okay? Halimbawa na lang sa school, di ba? Dahil meron tayong bakod, meron tayong mga specified na gates lang. So, pag dumaan tayo sa gate, hindi naman tayo makakadaan sa ibang lugar dito sa school, maliban sa gate. So, pag ikaw, halimbawa, may dala kang motor, kaya nagagawa pa nilang inspect yung mga sasakyan. Kasi wala namang ibang daanan eh. Di ba? Doon lang. So, mas madali. Ganon din sa paglabas. Okay? So, yun yung importance or purpose kung bakit meron tayong mga barriers. Okay? So, when it comes to barriers, we apply layers of barrier. So, this is what we call defense in depth, kung tawagin. So, when you say defense in depth, this is a principle applied in industrial security stating that instead of employing a single complex kind of barrier, so we apply series of barriers. So, bakit? Because there's no such thing as impenetrable barrier. Diba? Walang isang barrier na hindi pwedeng pasukin or di kayang pasukin. Walang ganon. Kasi kung yan ay paglalaanan ng panahon, paglalaanan ng pera, ng oras, diba? So yan ay mapapasok. So pag isa lang yung nilagay mo na complex na barrier, pag napasok yan, wala na. Okay? Free access na. So, anong sabi ng defense in depth? So, maglagay ka ng series of barriers, layers of barrier. Parang pag nalagpasan yung isa, merong kasunod, di ba? So, bakit ganon? In order to produce delay. So, di mo man siya ma-prevent, di mo man ma-deny yung kanyang illegal access, at least you can delay. Pag na-delay mo, meron kang chance to apprehend. Pwede mo siya mahuli. So, in the layers of barrier, so meron tayong lines of defenses. So, ito, kailangan alam niyo to. We have the first line. Kapag sinabing first line, ito yung unang barrier that will prevent the access, diba? So, or protect the asset. So, ito yung mga perimeter fences or yung mga perimeter barriers natin. So, pag sinabi natin perimeter fences or perimeter barrier, these are the barriers installed in the immediate vicinity of the area or the asset. So, like yung bakod. So, para sa bahay natin, di ba? Ang unang magpe-prevent sa magnanakaw ay yung bakod. So, that is the first line of defense. Next is the second line of defense. So, pag sinabi naman natin second line, so pag nakapasok, nakalagpas dun sa bakod, ang susunod na protection naman natin ay yung exterior structure ng isang building. Okay? So, for example, sa bahay, yung pinto, yung pader, yung sahig, yung kisame, yung bubong, yung mga yan ay second line of defense. Okay? And the third line of defense, so pag halimbawa napasok yung structure, So the third line of defense would be yung mga tinatawag nating safety storage or security storage. Okay, so ano yung example ng mga security storage na yan? Yung mga bolts, mga safe, diba? So even your cabinets, baka kaya tayo, di ba, pagka tayo ay merong asset, meron tayong something na importante, alam mo, meron kang pera, ha? O, sa loob ng bahay, di mo naman lalagay lang sa sala yan, ano? Saan mo ilalagay yan? Sa aparador, di ba? Tatago mo yan sa aparador. So yung mga yan, ang tawag dyan ay third line of defense. Okay? So those are the three lines of defense, ano? The first line, second line, and third line. So the perimeter fence, the exterior structure, and lastly, the security storage. Ano, yung mga safety storage natin. Okay? So I hope we are clear with this. Ano, maliwanag ba tayo dito? Naintindihan to? Can I get a heart react kung naintindihan? Ayan, thumbs up. Ayan, thank you. So, when we say barrier, barrier naman comes in different forms and sizes, di ba? Different shapes. So, maraming klase ng barrier. So, for as long as it could deny, detect, deter, or delay access, that is a barrier. Now, when we say barrier, ayan, so make sure you are familiar with the Haynes. No? So, ano itong Haynes na yan? First is human, animal, natural, energy, and structural. So, anyone that is employed to provide security measure, even the employees, di ba? These are considered as human barriers. Okay? Also, the use or utilization of animals to provide security is what they call animal barrier. Example niyan, yung aso. Ano? Another is the use of or the location or the strategic location or topographic location of an asset or an area that makes the asset or makes the access challenging or difficult is also a barrier. So, ang tawag dyan ay natural barrier. Such as yung mga land masses natin, bodies of water, anything in the topography of the area na nakakapagbigay ng extra protection doon sa asset, that is what we call natural barrier. And the things that utilize mechanical, hydraulic, electrical, or electronic energy, so ang tawag naman dyan ay energy barriers. Okay? So such as alarms, CCTV cameras, mga protective lighting, so those are energy barriers. And lastly, structural. So when we say structural, so anything that is man-made, installed, or any device installed, made of man to provide security, ang tawag diyan ay structural barriers. Okay? So, such as the fences, yung gates, doors, so on, yan ay structural barriers. Okay? So, I hope we are clear with the Haynes. Naintindihan ba yan? Very basic yan, Kayang-kaya yan. Okay? So, dito sa structural, merong dalawang bagay dito, particularly yung tinatawag nating fence. Yun yung pinaka-common na structural barrier natin, yung fence. So, merong dalawang kailangan kayong tandaan dito. Yung dalawang klase ng fence. So, ano yung dalawang klase ng fence? So, first is we have solid and, if you answer, narinig kita, sabi mo liquid. Hindi liquid. Walang liquid fence, porque solid ang nauna. Kadalasan narinig ko yan. Dalawang klase ng fence, solid and liquid. Kaya kahit di ko kayo naririnig, sigurado ako, merong ilan dyan. Ang sinagot ay liquid. So, walang liquid fence. Solid and full view fence. Okay? So, diba? Sabi mo siguro, narinig pa ni Sir yun, diba? So, solid fence, pag sinabi natin solid fence, this is a fence that is constructed wherein the visual access is denied. Anong ibig sabihin? Kaya siya tinawag na solid fence kasi hindi mo makikita ano, yung nasa loob. And vice versa, hindi rin makikita ng nasa loob yung nasa labas. Okay? O, kaya pagka tinanong kayo, in a scenario, for example, diba? So, parang naalala ko doon sa isa sa isang examination, meron akong nilagay na ganyang question. Hindi ko alam kung this season ba yun or nung nakaraan, di ba? So, na si Nami ay mag-i-install ng fence na ang gusto niya ay hindi nakikita yung affairs sa loob ng kanyang area. So that is solid fence, di ba? Kasi that is the advantage of the solid fence. Hindi makikita ng potential intruder yung asset and movement sa loob. However, the disadvantage is that hindi makikita ng security personnel na nasa loob yung movement ng potential intruder sa labas. Okay, so that is the disadvantage. Then we have full view fence. Ayan. Pag sinabi naman natin full view fence, from the word itself, full view, ibig sabihin, the visual access is permitted. Ibig sabihin, nakikita, nung nasa loob, yung nasa labas, and vice versa. Okay? Makikita nung nasa labas, yung nasa loob. So the disadvantage and advantage ng full view fence is the opposite ng advantage and disadvantage ng solid fence. Diba? Dahil full view, yung security, nakikita niya yung movement sa labas. Disadvantage, yung threat sa labas, yung intruder sa labas, nakikita rin niya yung movement sa loob. Okay, so that's a disadvantage. So I hope we are clear with these two. Okay, so thank you for your response. Ayan, so when it comes to the full view fence, meron tayong iba't ibang klase ng full view fence. Ang kailangan nyo lang tandaan dito is the specification. Okay, yung specification ng full view fence. Okay, so first is the chain link fence. So pag sinabi natin chain link fence, ayan, yung parang mesh-like material, para siyang lambat, para siyang net. So, the specification of that is 7 feet material. Ibig sabihin, yung height niya ay 7 feet. Okay? Hold on for a while. Sige lang. Okay po. So, pasensya na for the interruption. Okay, so may affairs lang na nangyari. Okay, so balik tayo. So when it comes to the chain link fence, so it is made of 7 feet material. So ibig sabihin yung taas niya should be not less than 7 feet. 9 gauge or heavier yung kapal ng material. And the mesh opening should not be larger than 2 inches and twisted in bar salvage at the top and the bottom, and it should be securely fastened sa isang rigid metal or sa isang reinforced concrete. Okay? As well as when it comes to the hard ground or paving, so it should not be elevated of more than 2 inches. Okay? Sir, however, how about kapag sa soft soil or sa sand, for example? Okay? Do we apply the 2 inches? So, no. Ano? Pag yan ay sa hard ground or hard pavement, doon lang nag-a-apply ng 2 inches. No? Or di tataas sa 2 inches. Pag yan ay soft soil or soft ground such as sand, okay? So, ibig sabihin, mabilis yan mag-erode. So, ang ginagawa natin dyan, the chain link fence should be buried. Okay? So, binabaon natin yung chain link fence material sa soil. Ano? Pag yan ay soft soil or soft ground. No? Tulad ng buhangin. Okay? So, that is, yan yung bagay niya kailangan tandaan dyan. Aside from chain link fence, so we have the barbed wire fence. So, pag sinabi nating barbed wire fence, so ang standard material na ginagamit natin dan is should not be less than 7 feet high pa rin. No? Pero mas makapal siya compared sa chain link fence which is 12 gauge or heavier. Okay? So, it is 4-point barb with equal spaces apart. And the posts of a barbed wire fence should not be more than 6 feet apart. Okay? So yan naman yung kailangan nating tandaan when it comes to barbed wire fence. Okay? So aside from the barbed wire fence or sa mga fences natin, isa sa principle na kailangan ninyong maintindihan is the principle of having clear zone. Okay? So, pagka sinabi natin clear zone means an unobstructed area. Ibig sabihin, from the word itself, clear. Ibig sabihin, totally. Walang any visual obstruction doon sa lugar na yon. Okay? So the minimum clear zone that we should maintain from the perimeter barrier to the exterior of the first structure sa loob ng area or protected area, it should be at least 20 feet or more. Bakit meron tayong ganong principle or bakit tayo nag-a-apply ng clear zone? So that pag merong threat na nangyari or merong illegal intrusion na nangyari, merong intruder na nakapasok, so hindi siya makakapagtago agad-agad. So merong opportunity, for example, yung security personnel, halimbawa, merong security personnel, meron siyang opportunity na ma-apprehend or ma-detect yung intruder. Or makita yung threat na nangyayari doon sa area na yon. So that is the purpose of the clear zone. Okay? Kasi kung mula sa perimeter fence ay meron kaagad yung structure, so madaling makakapagtago yung intruder. Okay? So that is the principle of clear zone. Okay? Aside from clear zone, there are additional protective measures. So, sa mga additional protective measures, isa sa kailangan yung tandaan is yung top guard. Okay? Remember that the top guard is only an additional material. Okay? An additional material. Okay? So, yung additional material na yan is composed of a barbed wire material na extended above the perimeter fence. Okay? So, yan ay 45 degrees. Okay? So, yan ay 45 degrees angle. Okay? So, the top guard is composed of 3 to 4 strands of barbed wire, which is spaced 6 inches apart. Okay? So, yung pagitan ng bawat strand ng barbed wire is at least or is 4 inches. Ay, sorry. 6 inches. Okay? So, I hope we are clear with this. Ano? So, this is top guard. Okay? So, remember ha, top guard is only an additional material. Okay? In comparison with the tower guard. Ano? Ang pinagkaiba ni top guard kay tower guard is that si tower guard is a house-like structure. Okay, malilito sa top guard and tower guard, ha? So, huwag kayong malilito sa top guard and tower guard. Okay? Kasi ang top guard is only a material, ang tower guard is a house-like structure extending above the perimeter fence. So, bakit merong ganito, merong tower guard? So, the purpose of this is to provide wider visual access. Okay? Para mas malawak yung makita ng security personnel. Okay? Kaya nga kadalasan nakikita natin ito sa mga prison. Sa mga correctional facilities. Para yung prison guard, malawak yung makita niya. Para kung merong escapee, so madali niyang ma-detect. So aside from tower guard and top guard, we also have what we call guard control station. So when we say guard control station, so this is provided at the main perimeter entrances. Okay, so this is usually manned by security personnel. 24/7. So lagi merong tao yan, lagi merong security guard supposedly yan. Okay, kaya siya tinawag na guard control station. So kung wala kayong makita na guard control station sa choices, for example, halimbawa tinanong kayo, it refers to the house-like structure provided that the main entrance or perimeter entrance of the firm or the establishment. Baka nakita nyo palang house-like structure, sinagot mo kagad tower guard. Sinabi nasa entrance. So guard control station 'yon. Pero kung wala kayong makita na guard control station sa choices, you can consider sentry station. Okay? So that is also known as sentry station. Okay? So, are we clear with the additional security measures? Yan, sa mga perimeter fences natin. Yan, thank you. Pasensya na, medyo sinisipon tayo. Next is protective lighting. So, protective lighting, the main purpose of it is to provide a continuing security. Okay? Even during nighttime. Okay? So, ito yung simple na ilaw. Di ba? So, ang purpose kung bakit mayroong ilaw is para hindi ma-abuse ng mga intruder yung darkness or kadiliman ng gabi, para gumawa ng security breach. Okay? So that is the main purpose ng protective lighting kung tawagin. Okay? So, pagdating sa protective lighting, ang kailangan yung tandaan dito ay yung mga different types ng protective lighting. Okay? So, ano yung mga different types ng protective lighting? Una dyan, yung tinatawag nating stationary luminaries. Ayan. So, when we say stationary luminary, ibig sabihin nito, from the word itself, stationary. Ibig sabihin, it is fixed in a certain location. Okay? So, naka-install yan sa isang location. Hindi mo siya pwedeng ilipat. Okay? And also, it provides continuous illumination. Ibig sabihin, regularly. Regularly, pag sumabit yung gabi, ino-operate yung stationary luminaries. Sinisindihan siya by automatic or manually. Okay? So basta, ibig sabihin, regularly siyang ginagamit. At yan ay naka-install sa isang fixed location. Okay? So that's what we mean by stationary luminaries. Now, merong dalawang effect or dalawang specific result. Okay? Ang stationary luminaries. So, meron tayong tinatawag na glare projection type at controlled lighting. Okay? So, anong pinagkaiba nun? Pag sinabi natin glare projection type, for example, ito yung bahay. Halimbawa, meron siyang bakod. Merong ilaw doon sa bakod, for example, at yung purpose ng ilaw, halimbawa, is to provide illumination. Pero ang focus niya ay towards the potential intruder. For example, ito yung potential intruder mo. So, the kind of effect na ginagamit nung illumination na yan or luminary na yan is glare projection type. So, the focus of a glare projection type ay sa intruder. So, for example, ito yung intruder. Masama siya. Yan, intruder siya. Wow. So, masama siya. So, that is glare projection type. So, yan. Okay? Pag sinabi naman natin controlled lighting, kaganda kasi ng glare projection type, makikita mo kagad yung potential intruder, di ba? Makita mo agad, mayroong masamang tao dun sa labas. So, that is glare projection. So, ang pinagkaiba naman ni controlled lighting, for example, this is your asset. Halimbawa, ito yung bahay, for example. Sa controlled lighting, ang binibigyan ng illumination naman, ang binibigyan ng ilaw or iniilawan is the asset. Yung asset yung iniilawan. Bakit? Para pagka merong lumapit doon sa asset, makikita. So that is what they call controlled lighting. Example na lang yan. Halimbawa, sa mga museum, di ba? Kung kayo nakakapunta sa mga jewelry store, sa mga jewelry store, di ba? Nakita mo may ilaw yung stante ng mga alahas, di ba? So kaya sa mga museum, di ba, iniilawan nila yung mga art pieces diyan, yung mga painting. So that is an example of controlled lighting. Bakit nila iniilawan 'yon? Di ba? So hindi lang 'yung design, kundi para pagka merong lumapit, merong magtangkang kumuha, so madali siyang makikita. So that is what they call controlled lighting. Okay? So I hope we are clear with stationary luminaries, Meron dalawa. Pag sinabi stationary luminary, fixed location, continuous lighting yan, regular basis. Diba? Operated yan manually or automatically. Basta regular yan. So, meron dalawang klase. Glare projection, ang focus ay sa intruder. Pag sinabi natin control lighting, ang focus naman ay sa pile of items or doon sa asset. Okay? So, next is standby lighting. So, ano bang ibig sabihin ng standby lighting? Sir, yan yung ilaw na dala-dala ng mga standby. So, pag sinabing standby lighting, ibig sabihin, hindi siya operational on a regular basis. Kaya nga siya tinawag na standby. Ibig sabihin, gagamitin lang siya kapag kailangan. For example, yung continuous lighting natin or yung stationary illuminaries natin ay inoperative. Nasira, napundi. Okay? Or halimbawa, sa isang area, merong nangyari situation. Kailangan ng additional illumination, kailangan ng mas maliwanag na ilaw. So, yan. Doon natin i-operate si standby lighting. Okay? So, naka-install lang siya. Nandun lang siya sa isang lugar. Naka-install lang siya doon. Pero hindi siya sinisindihan on a regular basis. Ginagamit lang siya pag kailangan. Okay? So, gano'n, ano? That is what we mean by standby lighting. Next is movable or portable lighting. Okay, so ano bang meron sa movable or portable lighting? From the word itself, movable, portable. Ibig sabihin, pwede mo siyang ilipat, pwede mo siyang bitbitin. Okay? In contrast with the stationary luminary na nandun lang siya sa isang lugar kung saan siya naka-install, itong movable or portable lighting, kung saan lugar mo siya kailangan, pwede mo siyang bitbitin. Di ba? Pwede mo siyang dalhin. Okay? So example yan, yung mga portable floodlights, yung mga flashlight, mga searchlights. So yan ay movable or portable lighting. Okay? Next is emergency lighting. So pag sinabi naman natin emergency lighting from the word itself, ginagamit lang siya during emergencies or pag nagkakaroon ng power interruption. Okay? So halimbawa, nagkaroon ng lindol, pinutol yung supply ng kuryente, so emergency lighting. Nagkaroon ng power outage, nagkaroon ng brownout, di ba? Halimbawa sa mall, naglalakad ka sa loob ng mall, biglang namatay yung ilaw, di ba? Biglang bubukas siya ang emergency lighting. So, to provide security. Kasi mamaya, naglalakad ka sa mall, biglang namatay yung ilaw, bigla kang dakot ng doon, dakot ng damit doon sa SM department store. So, to provide security, yan, meron tayong emergency lighting. No? So, those are the protective lighting. So, naintindihan ba? Meron ba kayo katanungan dyan? Ayan. So, can I get a heart react? Thank you. Pasensya na, medyo nahihirapan lang ako sa pagsalita at tayo ay sinisipon. Okay? So, anyways. No? Protective alarms. Okay? So, dito naman sa alarm, so this is an aural or visual signal. Okay? Given by the annunciator, and ang purpose nito is not to deny and not to delay access, but to detect. Okay? So, yung alarm, hindi naman yung nakakapag-prevent ng access eh. Okay? Hindi rin yan nakakapag-deny ng access. Hindi rin yan nasa-serve as deterrence. Primarily. Ang primary goal niyan is to give signal. Okay? To detect yung illegal access. Okay? So, when it comes to alarm, ang kailangan nyo tandaan dito are the basic parts of the alarm. Okay? Yung basic parts of the alarm. Ano ba yung mga basic parts of the alarm? Yan. Una dyan yung sensor. Pag sinabing sensor, this is like the trigger of the alarm. Ito yung nagpipick up ng signal na indicating na merong intruder. Okay, so pwedeng ang sensor halimbawa ay sound, vibration, okay? So, or heat signature, diba? So, anything na pwedeng mag-trigger doon sa alarm, ang tawag doon sa device na yon, ang nagpipick up doon is sensor. Okay? Then we have transmission line. Pag sinabi naman natin transmission line, so this is the circuit inside the alarm system that transmit the message to the signaling apparatus. So once na ma-pick up ni sensor yung signal, dadaan yung signal na yan sa transmission line. Okay? So yan yung circuitry sa loob ng alarm. Okay? So dyan niya, dadaan niya sa transmission line, interpret yan ng circuit sa loob, diba? Whether that sensor or whether that signal pick up by the sensor is a signal from an intruder. Okay? Ay, ibig sabihin ba nun ay merong intruder. So, pagka na-interpret yan ng system sa loob ng alarm na yun ay intruder, so, magbibigay ngayon ng signal, dadaan ulit sa transmission line, magbibigay ngayon ng signal sa enunciator or annunciator. So, ito yung parang bibig ng alarm. Ito yung magbibigay ng oral or visual signal. So, yan yung mag-iingay, yan yung maririnig mong bell. Yan yung maririnig mong horn or siren. Okay? Or yung nakikita mong blinking lights or flashing lights. So, yan ay gagagawa ng enunciator or annunciator. Okay? So, naiintindihan. Ano? So, yan yung different parts of the alarm. Okay? So, when we say alarm, tatandaan nyo dito sa alarm also, sa discussion ng alarm, yung different kinds of alarm system. Okay? Ano yung different kinds of alarm system? Una dyan yung tinatawag nating central station system. So when we say central station system, this is the type of alarm where the control station is located outside of the plant or installation. Ibig sabihin, remotely monitored yung alarm. Okay? So, possibly, halimbawa, yung isang establishment or isang business ay merong headquarters, meron silang central office. So, for example, yung school or yung business, halimbawa, ay nasa Cabanatuan. Pero yung central office, halimbawa, ay nasa Manila. So, pag merong intruder, doon sa isang store nila or doon sa business nila na nasa Cabanatuan, despite na nasa Cabanatuan yan, marireceive nung signal or marireceive nung headquarters, yung nagmo-monitor sa headquarters, yung alarm na nangyari sa Cabanatuan. So that is what we call central station system. Okay? So sa madaling salita, pag sinabing central station system, merong nagmo-monitor. Okay? Meron yung personnel na nagmo-monitor ng alarm. Pero yung nagmo-monitor niyan ay wala doon sa establishment itself. Okay? Somewhere outside. Doon sa kanilang central office or sa kanilang headquarters. Okay? Nandun yung nagmo-monitor. So that is what we mean by central station system. Okay? Next is we have proprietary system. Pag sinabi natin proprietary system, so dito, meron pa rin nagmo-monitor. Okay? Meron pa rin nagmo-monitor. Ang difference nga lang niya with the central station system is that yung nagmo-monitor nung alarm is located in the industrial firm itself. Ibig sabihin, yung nagmo-monitor nung alarm ay nandoon din mismo sa establishment or dun sa firm. Okay? So kaya 'di ba mapapansin natin merong mga establishment halimbawa like SF for example, nag-hire sila ng CCTV operator. So kasama doon yung pagmo-monitor ng alarm. Pero merong certain office doon sa establishment na 'yon, doon nakalagay or doon naka-station yung magmo-monitor ng alarm. Nandun din siya sa loob ng establishment. So that is what we call proprietary system. Okay, so kaya pag meron nangyaring insidente, meron nangyaring situation, kailangan ng pulis, kailangan ng bombero, so the officer na nagmo-monitor ng alarm will be able to call for help, such as the police or the firefighters, so on and so forth. That is proprietary system, no? So both central station and proprietary, meron nagmo-monitor. However, sa central station, nasa labas. Sa proprietary, ay nasa loob mismo or nasa establishment mismo. Okay? Next is we have local alarm. Pag sinabi naman natin local alarm, dito, ang ibig sabihin naman nito, yung alarm itself or the audible visual or audible alarm is near the object protected. So unlike the central station and the proprietary, ang local alarm, walang nagmo-monitor. Okay? Walang officer na naka-assign to monitor the alarm. Pag yan ay local alarm. Okay? Example na lang yan, halimbawa, yung mga fire alarm natin dito sa school. Meron ka bang nakita na security guard na andun lang siya, nasa tabi siya ng fire alarm? Monitor niya yung fire alarm kung pag pinindot mo. So wala, di ba? Walang
So kaya nga ang tawag sa mga local alarm ay by chance alarm. Ano ibig sabihin ng by chance alarm? Ibig sabihin, kung nag-sound yung alarm, yung local alarm, merong nakarinig, merong tatawag ng security, merong tatawag ng police o ng bombero. Okay? Kaya siya tinawag na by chance alarm. No? Oh. Parang halimbawa, parang yung alarm ng kotse. Diba? Diba? For example, oh, tumunog yung alarm ng kotse. Oh, walang nakarinig. May tatawag ba ng pulis? So, syempre wala, di ba? So, ang tawag doon, local alarm. Ano? So, okay, kasi walang naka-assign. Okay, walang personnel na in charge para mag-monitor ng local alarm. Okay? So, sa local alarm, yung signal, doon at doon mo rin siya marireceive. Okay? Doon sa lugar kung nasan siya naka-install. For example na lang, yung fire alarm, di ba? Pag pinindot mo yung fire alarm, doon sa itaas mismo, merong bell, doon mo mismo maririnig. Ha? So, kaya siya tinawag na local alarm. Okay? Naintindihan? Ayan. Ano? Oh. Next is auxiliary alarm. So, kung si local alarm, doon mismo sa establishment, doon mismo siya tutunog, doon mismo siya magbibigay ng signal. Si auxiliary alarm, ito, meron siyang unit sa nearby police station. Okay? So, ito yung mga klase ng alarm na nakalink yung alarm sa nearby police station. Kadalasan ginagamit yan sa mga bangko. Di ba? Kasi bakit? Sa mga bangko, hindi pwedeng local alarm. Di ba? Hindi pwedeng, halimbawa, merong hold-upper, sinound mo yung alarm, pinindot mo yung button sa ilalim ng desk, for example, yung teller, doon mismo tumunog, halimbawa yung alarm. So, malalaman ka agad ng mga hold-upper na merong nag-sound ng alarm. Mas delikado yun. Ay, kung pagbabaril niya bigla yung mga tao dun sa bangko. So, para hindi nila alam na nag-alarm na, so may mga alarm na auxiliary alarm ang tawag. Ang makaka-receive lang ng alarm ay yung police station. So, malalaman agad ng police station na merong nangyayaring hold-upan sa isang bangko. Meron niyang module or unit sa police station. Ano? So, re-respond din sila. So, makukot in surprise nila yung mga hold-upper. So, mas mahuhuli nila yung mga hold-upper in red-handed, di ba? Or in the act of commission of the crime. Okay? So, those are the different kinds of alarm. Okay? Are we clear? Naintindihan? Okay, good. Thank you. So, aside from alarm, now let's talk about security cabinets. Okay? So, itong mga security cabinets, these are highly secured storage. Okay? So, ang purpose nito is for storing of valuable items. Okay? So, meron tayong iba't ibang security cabinet. Unang-una dyan, yung safe. Okay? Pag sinabing safe, so the purpose of the safe is, or the characteristic of the safe is, it is a small metallic container. So the purpose of it is to store small items. Okay? So maliit yan compared sa iba pang mga security cabinet. No? So ito yung madalas na nakikita nyo, halimbawa sa kwarto. Diba? Diba? Pagka sa mga nanonood kayo ng mga like Chinese drama, di ba? Sa Facebook, Oh. Si Xiao Xie ay anak ng CEO. Ha 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 ha. Mga ganun, Oh. So, tinatago niya dun sa safe, yung kayamanan. So, ang tawag doon ay safe. So, yung pinagtataguan sa mga small items. Okay? So, that is safe. Okay? That is in comparison naman with the vault. So, sa vault, delikado yung epekto ng sipon sa akin na nagiging AI ako. So, sa vault, this is more heavily constructed and more secured than the safe. Okay? Bakit? Kasi ang vault mas malaki compared sa safe. Ano? So, ang vault ay constructed as an integrated part of the structure. So, for example na lang, halimbawa, sa bangko. Ano? So, yung bangko, meron siyang vault. Pagka kinonstruct yung bangko, kasamang kinoconstruct or kasabay ng kinoconstruct doon yung vault. Parte siya ng building. Okay? Parte siya ng structure parte siya ng structure. Okay? Unlike kasi yung safe, di ba yung safe, pwede kang bumili ng safe. Di ba? Yung bumili ng safe, ilagay mo sa kwarto, ano, ilagay mo sa cabinet, so on, so on, lagay mo sa sahig. Pero ang vault, kasama siya. Constructed siya alongside with the building. Okay, so mas malaki ang vault at mas heavily secured ang vault. No? So, next is file room. So, compared sa vault at sa safe, di hamak na pinakamalaki naman ang file room. Okay? So, this is the largest security storage, okay, na meron tayo. So, sa file room, so this is used to store important documents. Halimbawa, sa mga government offices or government agencies na nagki-keep ng malaking archive ng records, so meron silang tinatawag na file room. So sa file room, so this also has a capability to accommodate people to work inside. Okay? So kaya niyang magpasok ng tao sa loob. So large enough siya para mag-accommodate ng tao sa loob. Kasi mas nagtatagal yung mga tao sa loob ng file room compared sa vault. Kasi sa vault, di ba, sa bangko, pagka nagpasok o naglabas ka ng pera, hindi ko naman na magtatagal doon kasi di mo naman napipiliin yung pera di ba? So, titignan mo lang, bibilangin mo lang yung amount. Pero sa file room, halimbawa, records, so syempre, kailangan mong hanapin yung specific na records, di ba? Specific na pangalan, di ba? So, mas matagal yung proseso. Kaya, mas malaki ang file room. Though, mas lighter naman ang construction ng file room compared sa vault. Okay? So, mas less secured ang file room pagdating sa sunog. Kasi ang vault, kaya niyang tumagal sa sunog up to 6 hours. Kahit na masunog ng 6 na oras yung building, yung laman ng vault ay intact pa rin yan. Okay? Ayos pa rin yan. Pero ang file room kasi, pag yan ay nasunog, kaya lang niyang i-withstand yung sunog ng up to 1 hour. Ay 1 oras. Pag nasunog yung building, so hanggang 1 oras lang yung kayang itagal ng file room. Okay? Na yung laman niya sa loob ay hindi pa rin masusunog. Okay? Naintindihan? Maliwanag tayo dito? Okay. So, can we have a short break? 10-minute break lang, water break lang. So, lang din ako ng gamot. Ayan. So, 10-minute break lang. So, grab your coffee or merienda para makapag-snacks kayo habang nakikinig. Okay? So, 10 minutes lang. Short break lang. Thank you.